Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Dawn Mountain. I'm Janet Montez Diaz, and I'm a member of Dawn Mountain. I've been coming to Dawn Mountain for the past 6 years, and I feel that Dawn Mountain has become a very important part of my life. I was pursuing a spiritual path for many years before coming here. I had been doing yoga, I had been meditating on my own, and reading a lot of books of esoteric spirituality. But I really feel that I have progressed most, or I had advanced spiritually most in the past 6 years than in any other part of my life. And it's not only that I've advanced in the spiritual sense, but also my daily life has also improved. I feel like I am more calm. I don't easily get angry or sad. I feel more compassionate towards others. I feel more understanding. I feel I can get more accomplished during the day. And basically, I just feel that my life I'm more content. And I also feel like I live my life with an open heart. And I've come to realize that there's many people that can benefit from the Buddhist teachings that are taught here. These teachings are universal and timeless teachings. And they not only help you in your daily lives, but they also give you a path towards the highest spiritual attainment that man can have. So it really depends what benefits you think are more important at this time in your life. So you just have to look and see how it is that we can help. And this is why I gladly volunteer to tell everyone about the good things that Dawn Mountain has to offer, so that all can benefit from it. And all of this would not be possible without the guidance of our teachers. And we're very fortunate to have wonderful teachers. I'd like to introduce you now to Anne Klein and Harvey Arneson, our teachers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you, and welcome everyone. It's lovely to see you here. We're inspired we were inspired to found Dawn Mountain and have been inspired since June 26, 1996, to continue Dawn Mountain. Really, first of all, because of what we received from our teachers. We began to study with renowned teachers from a variety of Buddhist traditions, but particularly the Tibetan tradition after college. So that means in the 70s we were in India and studying with wonderful beings who just gave us so much kindness and love and information. Khetsen Samba Rinpoche, Adza Rinpoche are our main teachers in the tradition that we mainly offer here for those who wish a traditional path. They were just so willing to answer our questions, spend hours and hours a day with us, and the open heart that Janet mentions, this is really central to the whole path. Dalai Lama frequently speaks of this. I think of a moment in India, in Dharamsala, where a famous teacher had arrived who I had never met, didn't know much of myself about Buddhism. I didn't speak Tibetan at that time, but I just felt like I wanted to meet him. And I was very nervous because I was an American girl and he was a great Tibetan Lama, and, what could I possibly say? This suddenly occurred to me as I'm knocking on the door. But I went ahead and, I was really kind of squeamish. And anyway, the door opened and he said, "Come in, sit down. How are you? Have some tea. How long have you been here? What are you doing?" In other words, it was just totally comfortable from the first moment. He didn't feel, I don't know how many American girls had knocked on his door up until that point, but, he was totally comfortable. My teacher, Geshe Wangyal, in New Jersey, one of the first Tibetan trained, I think the first actually to come here in the 50s, called the person who practices in along the lines that we speak of in Buddhism, he said, is what we want to be, he said, is a true cosmopolitan. He was Kalmuk, Russian. Mongolian descent, so he spoke his own unique brand of English. She said, we want to be a true cosmopolitan. That means somebody who's comfortable with, friendly to everybody, just like Tara Tulku. I feel he was a true cosmopolitan. When he opened the door and saw me, there was no distance there. So this is very central to what inspires us, to the whole body of the teachings that we offer in hopefully very digestible segments, so that over time people really do learn quite a bit about what we call life skills. The art of kindness is a life skill. And some people choose to follow a more traditional Buddhist path, which we offer. Some people feel simply to learn life skills like attention and love. And that keeps us going.
I too have been motivated by the vision of our teachers, who selflessly gave of themselves to us, teaching sometimes for a month on end, 3 to 4 hours a day. We want you to know a little bit about what we offer. We have our Sunday morning meditation, which is from 11 to 12 every Sunday. It's a very basic, non-sectarian meditation. On Tuesday nights, the first and third Tuesday, we have classes that are each Tuesday stands alone, but they are typically in a series of anywhere from 6 to 7 classes. It's sort of on a semester basis. And this particular semester, we're teaching a group of teachings called Buddha, Brain, and Body. And it's going to be, this Tuesday I'll be talking about awareness, and then we're going to be talking about the variety of reactive patterns that we get into in our daily lives and how we can bring awareness to those reactive patterns. It's going to be a very, very promising group of programs. We also have a children's program, which we're very, very excited about, and it's continuing to evolve. Both Anne and I are able to talk Tibetan, and so we work with Tibetan lamas directly. And part of what we offer is a very, very traditional path of Tibetan Buddhist practice for individuals who are interested in that particular line of development. But at the same time, we recognize there's a lot available in modern psychological and spiritual and Buddhist material that can be made available to the very, very broad public. And so that's what we typically do on our Tuesday nights. We're open to everyone. We have everyone from students to geophysicists to doctors, judges, and interestingly enough, we also have in our community ministers of other faiths. So they clearly find it thoroughly satisfying to come to our Tuesday classes and find material of benefit to their own spiritual enrichment. It really is a program, Tuesday night is really a program that can benefit people on a daily basis, but also open up into something much more profound, deep, and significant. And so I think the best way to learn about us and what we do is really to come to our Sunday mornings. We certainly encourage everybody who's here to stay for our Sunday meditation and to come to some of our Tuesday evening classes. And so we'll look forward to seeing you at that time.
We have retreats.
And we have retreats from time to time. There'll be, if you take this packet, we're going to have some beginners retreat at the end of March. There'll be a 2-hour program of meditation for newcomers on, I don't know what the 23rd of March, 10 to noon.
I'd like to open, can you hear me? I'd like to open this time right now for any questions you may have that you'd like to ask Anne and Harvey.
Yes.
The Tuesday night class, is there a fee for that, or is that free?
There is a fee for that. It's free for members, but there is a fee for that.
How much?
What is it now?
15.
I think it's $15 per class.
And then can you elaborate a little bit more about the children's program?
What'd you talk about?
The children's program is, right now, it's from ages 5 to 12, which is quite a broad span. Actually, some younger babes in arms come too because their older sibling is coming. And it's really a program for parents too, as it's evolving. Mostly, at least one parent comes, sometimes both parents come. And we have, I can send you an email about it if you like. We have a variety of activities. It's met monthly so far, usually the first Sunday of the month before this event. And they've learned some songs. It's life skills. It's not teaching them to be Buddhists. It's teaching them to be good humans. So it's teaching some attention, caring for others. They sing and they send happy wishes to everyone. We do a little meditation. One of their favorites is we ring the bell and they sit still for as long as they can hear it. So it's a very light touch. There's actually a lot of research now on meditation for children, and Simone Woodage, who's one of our board members and a mother, has taken some training and is taking more, and we are planning to have I think a 4-week program starting in March that will meet every week for 4 weeks as a kind of pilot program, and then in the fall, perhaps more than that, a 7 or 8 week program. And I'd be happy to put you in touch with Simone or send you more material on it. The focus is going to be, particularly for the month long, is that parents will also have an opportunity to learn meditation so that they can support. And by meditation, I don't mean anything, heavy, but just learning to be quiet and peaceful. And so it's for the whole family, and we're very excited about it.
And one more question.
Yeah.
So I'm gathering that meditation is kind of the core of your practice. Is that right? Or is it kind of a combination of meditation and education?
It's combination, very well put, meditation and education. Our Sunday morning is really almost entirely meditation. Sometimes there's a 5 or 7 minute talk. The Tuesday nights begin and close with some meditation, but there's learning. We're talking about a book, we're giving information, yeah. And we're also available on distance. People can watch us at home and even on YouTube, thanks to Gary. But we'd rather see you here, of course, if you can make it. Thanks for your question, Sarah. Yeah, Paula.
Been coming a long time, and Rich and I did the Tuesday programs for quite some time. What are you doing differently now? Because I don't think I've been but once, and that was last year. So I know you're going to be doing something on awareness, but are you going to be doing some exercises like you used to do, or instead of be talking about I know you're doing it from a book, but what are you doing differently now?
In this particular sequence, we haven't done the Buddha and brain before, so we're bringing in different kind of information. There's been, as Harvey said, there's been a lot of research now on how meditation impacts the body and the brain. So we're bringing that in a little bit. And then in the second section of it, I'm going to be talking some about reflecting on your own experience in terms of the from the perspective of the view of the elements, as that's taught in the Tibetan tradition. I don't think we've done that before on the Tuesday night. So the pattern is the same, but the information is different. Do you want to say anything about that?
I don't know that it's going to be different in format. I think specifically what the last 5 classes are going to be about is reaction patterns in a very, very specific manner of describing them, and how to use really everyday life and even the pitfalls of everyday life as a kind of avenue for opening into spiritual awareness in the midst of the mess that we tend to get ourselves into. And it's just going to be a very specific set of teachings that we haven't given before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Larry.
In terms of someone who's just really starting out with Buddhism and Dawn Mountain, is there a single book or a curriculum that will help someone to get up to speed in the beginning? And as a second part of the question, in terms of the chanting that happens especially on Sunday mornings, in hymnals, there's a notation that kind of helps you to kind of sing along and so forth. I just wondered if there are any musical aids like that.
Ooh, not yet. Now that we have some musically talented people among us, I can't do music notation, so we just do it by ear, but that's an interesting question. We'll see if that evolves. We do have a curriculum. It's on our website. I hope it's on our website. It's on our website. And kind of the first thing that we encourage for someone who's interested in this is to, and maybe you already have done this, but I'll just mention, encourage people to establish a daily practice of mindfulness to begin with. The kinds of practices that we do at the beginning of Tuesday nights, watching breath, and the kinds of practice that we do on Sunday, to do that on a regular basis. And then gradually once you have a kind of base of mindfulness, there is a sequence of practices to which we introduce people who are interested. And that will begin to be introduced at the retreat, the welcome retreat for newcomers in March. And the other thing to do is just to talk to us, because in terms of a book, there are a lot of books. And I want to know first a little more about what you're interested in. I know you already have some background, so we could talk about that. We do have a book list also, recommended book list, beginners, intermediate, and so on our website also. And you could look at that, but we could also talk, and there's a lot of good material around. So, then do you want to think about slowly, don't decide this at the beginning, but after you begin to develop a daily practice, how do you want to develop? Are you thinking in terms of life skills? Are you thinking in terms of a traditional Tibetan path? So we talk with you. We're open. There is a curriculum, and it's somewhat open to reflect particular interest. But it's not wishy-washy. It's just want to know you first before we say, do this.
I imagine you've gotten recently an email from us about our YouTube postings, because you've been coming for a while and we should have your email address. And we did send out an announcement of our YouTube postings, and maybe when Gary comes up, you'll just give the basic YouTube site. But we've got a lot of sort of introductory teachings on the YouTube site now, and that could be very, very useful.
Thanks for your question.
We're not going to have a short testimonial from one of our Sangha members that have been coming here for a while. So, Gary, please come.
You have to put the camera on yourself now. See what it feels like.
Yeah, see if it works. Well, just one note, talking about what Harvey just mentioned, we do have a YouTube site that we've just gotten up and running, and we do live broadcasting from it, and we also have saved a lot of videos that are very interesting, and we'll be putting more up as we go along. Every week we're going to put a 5-minute segment from the teachings that we think is especially good, and some of them just honestly will blow you out of the water. But so look every week at www.youtube.com, Dawn Mountain, and you can find the videos. And we're coming along fairly good. Slowly but surely, they're teaching an oil field hand how to do broadcasts. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And I guess that's why they've asked me to tell you why I started to come to Dawn Mountain, because I am such an oddball to the community. But I was in the oil field for about 30 years, and most of it overseas, and met a lot of really good people who believed a lot of different things. And when I came back to the States, I was determined to try to figure out what it was that I actually believed. And so I started reading everything from the Bible to philosophy, and I went into the Buddhist texts, and I became real intrigued because of the concentration on exploring the mind and determining what's good and bad in yourself and in others and in the world. And then it also delineates a path where you can reach that goodness that's within you. And so it kind of meshed with what I'd been raised with, was that you strive for goodness, that you kind of approach the world with a open-heartedness like a child, and that you are living your life to try to benefit others. And so as I studied, I became more and more interested in Mahayana Buddhism and the highest levels of the Tibetan traditions, and became extremely confused and realized I had to have a teacher. And one thing that I learned through the text is that you really need to be careful in selecting the teacher, and even skeptical. And so I read some of Anne Klein's works and became very intrigued about Dawn Mountain. And once I started studying that, I found out that Harvey Aronson and Anne Klein both, who co-founded Dawn Mountain, had PhDs in Buddhist studies. And as I looked at that, and it was both from very good U.S. universities, but what was really the most impressive both were authorized lamas, recognized teachers in one of the highest Buddhist lineages, which is something you just don't see in the West. And so I looked at their backgrounds. They both had over 40 years studying Buddhism from every school, and from the highest tradition, Tibetan lamas and the masters. And so, I became quickly convinced that this was the place to go, and I realized that this was one of the few places in the West that you could actually get teaching from a Western perspective, and in a language that even an oilfield hand could understand. And so I've been very fortunate to come into this community. The community is serious about learning, and it's a very good community. And you can learn anything from simple meditation to the highest Tibetan traditions. And, it's just a very open, very good community. And you have teachers that are teaching because of their love for their fellow man.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
You have to lower this.
That's that
Well,
mindfulness training.
this comes to an end. Our program comes to an end today, but you're welcome to stay for our 11 o'clock Sunday meditation. I'd like to thank you for coming, and hope to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you all, and have a great Sunday. If you're staying with us, all the better. And if you have other questions, we're here until we formally start at 11. So thank you so much.